Welcome to my video. Please subscribe. Hello and welcome to Resin Crafting with Chris Collected. And Brrr I'm cold. It's the dead of winter and I am over it. So today's video will only have warm things in it. I'm so cold. So if you see, this is a mix. It's like a springtime mix. There's a little bit of snowflakes in it, but there's also strawberries and other like warm things. Alright, so we're going to be using the Desert Rain epoxy resin. We're going to be using only 400 total. It's a 1-to-1 resin, so that's 1 part hardener, 1 part resin. Or in this case, 200 mils of part 1 and 200 mils of the other part. As you can see, this container can hold a lot more, but I'm getting to the end of this Desert Rain, so I was just like, alright, let's use it up to make a couple different things, but then I was too cold to make a real long video, so I was like, you know what? We're gonna break it up into a couple videos, use up the rest of this resin, and then get ready for next month. We're gonna use a lot of deep pour resin. This is gonna be first time ever using a lot of deep pour resin, so super excited about it. In today's video, we'll be doing that cloud that you see, but also I want to finish up some projects from last year. So anytime I have extra resin at the end of a project, I go ahead and I just like throw it into any mold that I have. And so there will be 2 molds in this video that are being used up from previous ones. 1 tic-tac-toe mold and 1 coaster. You can see that red coaster there. All right. Oh, I had real butterfingers in this whole episode. Luckily, I didn't drop any of the resin. I realized I put a little bit too much in that container, and so I dumped about half of it out. The idea here is that I want to absolutely pack in these little bits into the resin, and so the front half of what we're going to put it to is that rainbow. And the front half of it's going to just be packed full. I want it solid, full of bits and stuff. And then I figured sunshine is, you know, yellow and bright. I'll throw a little bit of that butterscotch in. Not much, just a little tad bit. And we throw that in there. That way it looks like it's a little bright instead of being clear. I figured it's also getting near Valentine's Day, so I threw a little bit of hearts in there too. And these are like little pearls, little purple bits, and some like sakura flowers. I've used them in a previous one, but I was like, I still got plenty of them. And as I said, I wanted to pack this thing full. So it's more bits than it is resin, really. And it turned out perfect. You know, I've had problems with things sinking to the bottom and everything like that, and I've looked into it, and this is one of the solutions is, hey, if it can't sink, if there's so much in it that it can't move. And one of the smart things I did here is I'm only going to fill up half of it, the front half, that way saving me half. So that's what we're going to do now is we're going to pour the front half of this rainbow business card holder. This is my second time using it. Feel free to go check the previous video and you can see another time that I made it. But it's awesome. I just did an event recently last Sunday, my first event of the year. And absolutely, I brought one of these with me, and it had one of my Trust in Yourself stickers sitting in the middle of it, and that way kind of promoted my brand, but also promoted the resin crafting. So it's kind of hard to tell from this angle. Maybe I should have had it the other way around. But as you can see, there is a slit in the top half where the business card or any kind of sticker or anything can go. And so I'm going to fill it up to that line. So half of it will be packed solid, and then the other half I'll do in another video, and we'll actually get it, just the back half in like a light blue, like a cloud. Yeah, so as I said earlier, we're going to finish up some ones that I started with. I forget what video this is from, but it was just a video that I had done a lot of red. And so I went ahead and poured all this in there. But then I realized something. I just thought, you know, this is gonna be on the backside. So I poured it all out. Yeah, I poured it all out and then I switched it over to this mold because I was like, okay, well, this is a lot of stuff and you're not gonna see it in the back of that mold because it was covered in red, right? So I was like, that's gonna be silly, just kind of a waste of my money. So I took it all out, put it back into the cup, and then now I'm putting it into this, half of them are smoothies and half of them are lattes or coffee. And so these look way cuter than the other ones would have looked. And I'm thinking for stuff like this, what I'm going to end up doing is finishing them off, putting a little tie, because it is a keychain, and then maybe, you know, throwing them on one of my bags that I sell. So I sell grocery bags that I make at local markets and online as well. And so I'm thinking that, you know, if someone orders from me or something like that, then you could just get one of these bag charms. You know, instead of them being necessarily keychains, I'll just do them as like little freebies. But, you know, no guarantee or anything like that. But if I ended up making stuff and I was just like thinking, I was looking at my stuff the other day and I have like 20 pieces of like, you know, everything from last year that was done. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to start just throwing these onto bags and someone can just have it for free. Or should I say included with purchase. All right, so, you know, as you can see, we're just topping up the rest of it with clear. I figured, you know, if I got rid of the red in the other one, there's no reason to put color in this one just to ruin it, huh? That would have been weird. And then using just a little pipette that had already been used. And so the pipette is essentially trash at this point because there's resin inside. You can kind of see there's like red in there. But that doesn't mean that I can't keep it. And now it's just a stick, essentially, right? Now it's just a plastic stick. But that way, you know, a little more eco-friendly. You know, you can just dry it off and keep reusing it. But all right, that one's now used up. So now we used up all the little bits because I had so much extra. And as you can see, I took all that out and we're just gonna pour the rest of this clear in there. Because why? I mean, the color was gonna block everything anyways. I was like, that's silly. But it does turn out really well. I like how it's like a subtle red now because now it's like red floating. It actually looked really cool. So I still have a little bit left. So I had another project. You know, last year I spent a lot of time just making tic-tac-toe boards. Well, at the end of those videos, any video that I had extra for tic-tac-toe boards, I have one tic-tac-toe board on the side here that is just, I mean, a Frankenstein of 5 or 6 different pieces of resin. And something that I've learned since then is that this is not a good idea, to be honest. It stuck really badly. Apparently, if you heat resin, let it cool, and then put more warm resin on top, which is what I did like 5 times, it apparently messes with the mold really badly. And so this mold is essentially ruined. But it was cool for that one time I learned how to do it, or should I learn not to do it? Luckily, I bought about 5 of these large tic-tac-toe molds because I was like, I'm going to ruin these things. It was a good learning experience, though. And this year, I'm going to upgrade, not just do tic-tac-toe, but something I'm going to be doing in the deep pour is a slingshot hockey. I found it online. It's like a slingshot hockey mold, so I'm super excited about that one. I also have like a Scrabble that I'm going to do. So like if you're under 10 years old or something, I'm like, all right, spell a word that's, you know, as many letters as your name. And that way, if the kids can do it, then they can get a prize that way too. Yeah, I mean, just making it fun because a lot of these events have so many kids in it and so many families. And so I figured it'd be a fun way to have like the 5 to 10-year-olds be like, I don't know how to spell much, but maybe you get them to try, you know? Maybe those teenagers can get big words like 15 letters or 20-letter words, you know? But yeah, everyone, thank you so much. Brrr, I was cold, but I'm glad I warmed up with all this awesome resin. Thanks. And hopefully you enjoy the pictures. If you want to see a demolding video, check out my Patreon. Thank you guys so much. See you on the next one. Bye.